Hello, my learners. How are you? Today we are going to discuss the lesson about the vascular plants. Please, my students, open your book on page 16. Are you ready? Let's start. The objectives in this lesson are the students will be able to, first of all, measure the speed of water flow inside the ciliary stem, recognize the vascular parts of the plant, identify the role of a stem in transporting water for the production, storage, and support. Know that the stem has two vessels inside it, xylem and the phloem. Some essential questions that you have to know. First of all, listing the parts of the green plant. Any green plant has three main parts. They are the leaves, the stem, and the roots. What does the plant need to grow? Any plant needs to grow four factors. They are the carbon dioxide, the water, mineral salts, and sunlight. How does water move inside the plant? Water moves inside the plant in vessels or through vessels. These vessels are called xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem will be discussed later in this lesson. Why we should take care of plants? You know that plants are very important in our life. They give us many benefits. Some of these benefits are giving us oxygen that is needed for a human being to breathe and clean the air from carbon dioxide. Also, green plants give us food. So now, in order to measure the speed of water inside the ciliary stem, we should conduct an experiment. And an experiment, we should apply two steps. First of all, we have to list the materials needed in order to perform this experiment, as well as we have to apply these steps in order to complete this experiment. These steps are called the procedures. So let's start listing the materials. First of all, we need celery stalk with leaves intact. This is the picture of the celery leaves, the celery stalk with leaves intact. We need metric ruler. We need also distilled water. This is distilled water. Red food coloring. This is red food coloring. We need a stirring rod. This is the stirring rod. We need 400 milliliter beaker. This is the beaker. We need a glass bowl. This is the glass bowl. And finally, we need razor blade. This is the razor blade. These are the materials needed in order to perform the experiment. Now we have to list the procedures step by step. Procedures. The first step is we should fill the beaker with 100 milliliter of distilled water. So this is the beaker filled with 100 milliliter distilled water. Second, we should add some drops of red food coloring into this water. Then we should stir with the stirring rod until the water gets dark red. This is the picture of the dark red water. So we prepare this solution. We should put it aside in order to continue the experiment. The fifth step is we should cut 2 centimeters from the bottom of the celery stalk in order to let it stay fresh. This is the celery, okay? We cut 2 centimeters from the bottom. Then we should place this celery stem into the colored water. And finally, we should record the beginning time. After a time, remove the celery and record the ending time. This will be summarized using this table. Okay, so we should put the beginning time I put this or make this experiment at 9 o'clock on Monday. The ending time I remove this celery plant on 9 o'clock at Tuesday. Okay, so this this experiment takes 24 hours. Okay, after that, once I remove the celery stalk, I bring the ruler and measure the length of the colored water inside this celery plant, and I found that the length was 9 centimeter. So in order to calculate the rate of a traveling of water through this system, we should apply this rule. The rule said that rate of travel equal to the length of the celery stalk divided by the time for the color to reach the top. So by calculation, 9 centimeter, which is the length of the celery stalk, divided by 24 hours, but the time should be in minutes. So we should multiply 24 hours by 60 minutes in order to let the time become in minutes. Okay, after calculation, the answer become the rate of a travel equal to 0.00625 centimeter per minute. So now we have to explain the types of the stems of a plant. We have 4 types of the stems. First stem is called the green stem. As an example, the stem of the mint. Second type is a tuber stem, like the stem of potato. Third one is called bulb stem, which is like the onion stem. The woody stem, the last type, like the orange tree. Now we should list the functions of the stem. The stem has 4 functions, 4 main functions. First function is the storage. The second function is the food production. The third one is transport. And finally, the support. Okay, so let's return back to the storage. What's meant by storage? The function of the stem is a storage. We give example about in cacti, the stem can store a lot of water and starch inside it, since the cacti have true leaves. Okay, so it will store the water inside the stem. The second function is food production. As an example, in cacti, photosynthesis takes place in the stem, because we said before that this cactus plant doesn't has what leaves, true leaves. Okay, so the third function is support. The stem supports the plant and help it rise up. The fourth function is transport. So the stem contains vascular tissues that support water and nutrients. As you see in this picture, the stem is a support, okay, for the plant. Okay, it allows it to rise up and be standing. Now, what's meant by vascular plants? Vascular plants are plants that contain transport tissues or tubes such as xylem and phloem. So what's meant by xylem? Xylem, it is a vessel that is found inside the green plant. It carries water and mineral salts from the roots to the leaves. Whereas the phloem, also it is a vessel that is found inside the green plant. It carries sugar made by the leaves after the process of photosynthesis down to the rest of the tree. Okay, so let's continue. Now we have to explain what's meant by the growth rings. The growth rings for each year, for each plant, okay, or for each tree, a new layer of xylem is added and a ring forms. Each of these rings represent a single year of a growth. So you can know the old of the tree by counting these rings. Okay, this is the picture of what of the we take a cut of the stem of a big tree and we count the rings inside this disc. Okay, and we find that there are 23 rings. This means that this tree has an old of 23 years old. That's it.